open up this. Hey guys, if you were just joining us, the live has ended, but feel free to drop your comments below so that we can answer any questions that you guys may have. So I'm going to open this up and so I can filter through the comments. I feel like I'm breathing really heavy, and I'm sorry.
You're nervous.
I know, I do. I still get nervous.
I do too, every time.
So, alright, so we got a few people joining us here.
Hi. I can't read the names and my glasses don't have glare.
That's okay. There we go. Okay. Hey, Nicole. So, if you guys, I am going to be giving away a tumbler for the first person who can guess I have right here with me. You guys all, let me give you some hints. You fight over their product, not with each other, but with other people. You love it, and it's something that I have been passionate about lately. But there are some things that they have brought here today that I had no idea that they have, and I want to share that with you guys. So you go ahead and start dropping guesses, and then we're going to get started with introductions.
Oh, somebody who, Michelle?
Barry.
How did she know her name?
Somebody, Barry! So was it Michelle? Yeah, Michelle. Barry, Amy, and this is not Mindy. This is not Mindy. This is Misty. I was looking backwards on the thing. Mindy is not with us here today. But she is, so what's Mindy's role? She does
a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
we can't live without Mindy.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people know Mindy.
We need to give her
Mindy.
a title like Queen of darn near everything.
Maybe she has one, Jack of all trades.
She is. We can't function without Mindy. So,
and if you guys recognize the voice in the background, my mom is here. Mama. She has refused to be on camera, but I'm going to take the camera away in a minute and show you all of the supplies that they have brought, and so you will be able to say hello to Mom. So
hey guys.
This is Counterculture. I am so thrilled to have them in the shop today. They traveled all the way from their headquarters in Missouri. This is Barry. He is the owner of Counterculture. Mela says that Mindy stays on top of the ish, y'all. This is Misty. She is a super talented tumbler maker. She made these tumblers that are sitting here, if you guys can see them. They said, hi, Mama, my Stella.
Hey, guys.
And this is Amy. Sunday, kick the stand. This is Amy. She also has her very own group where she does, tell me about your group.
I'm teaching people how to mix the colorants and the micas into resin to create totally new looks.
And you recently started a mica.
It's mica mixology.
Mica mixology.
Yeah.
Is it a monthly?
There's a monthly fee. Yeah, if you get in now before Sunday, it's only $9 a month.
Oh wow!
And then I'm closing the doors on Sunday and won't open back up for a couple of months.
Okay, so I saw a few of you guys talking about this in the Angel chat last night, or maybe it was the day before. Somebody said that they have joined your group. We will link that for you guys. I will have it in the description of the video after this is over. I'll add that. It is $9 a month. I saw a few of you guys asking about the price in the chat. It is $9 a month. You're going to learn all things mica. Just like myself, when they brought all of these beautiful products in, I was like, I don't even know what to do with all of this. But there are some amazing things that you can do, and Amy will show you how to do it all. So, Misty, tell me what you've got going on.
Well,
You're a tumbler maker.
I started making tumblers, and then Barry contacted me to place an order, and I had no clue who he was. That's how I got started using Counterculture products. And
the cool thing about Counterculture is that they are looking at your art, they are saying your cups,
Yes.
and unlike people in the past, like I talked about on a different live, they do consider you artists and they appreciate the art that you do.
And on that note, we love for you guys to tag us on Instagram so that we can see what you're doing, and we love to share your stories if you tag us. So we always want to see what you're doing with our products, always.
Yeah, so as a business aspect, I talked to you guys about tagging these bigger businesses in your stories. They're really likely to share. Counterculture always does that, yeah. Mm-hmm. They're really supportive of their team.
Yeah.
So, Barry, tell us about how you got started with Counterculture and where it is now.
So I got started a few years ago, and I actually wanted to open up an online business to show people how to do countertops, but that just didn't go over very well, and I met some artists in the process and started helping artists with fixing a lot of problems that they're having with their epoxy or their process, and bringing new materials into the art world, and just jumped in the art scene. So.
And he is the creator of Facet. So Facet is exclusive to Counterculture. Anything that is portrayed to be anything like Facet, if it does not come from Counterculture, it is not the real deal. So, yep, I'm getting lots of heart eyes for Facet. And I said, yay, Barry. But he did create this product for you guys, for your projects. And so we are here to answer any questions that you guys may have. I want to start off with something that I've been seeing you guys talk about, seeing you ask about, and is quick coat the same as polycrylic? That's one thing that we've already been talking about this morning. And the answer is a big, in all caps, no. It is not the same. You may see these in tutorials and YouTube videos, and if it works for those people, that's okay, but it is not the same product. Quick Coat was made to, well, tell me, Barry, what is Quick Coat made to do?
It is made as, it can be used as a top coat on some finishes, but it's really kind of a primer or barrier. And a lot of the products that you use just don't work well with epoxy, like spray paints, any type of solvents. They just will make fish eyes and things in your epoxy. So the Quick Coat really covers up all that and gives you a surface that epoxy likes and will stick to, and will give you a nice top coat in the end.
Yeah. So what he's saying basically also is that if you are using polycrylic, that could cause fish eyes with your epoxy from those chemicals, from that formula that it is releasing. And Quick Coat will not do that. They're saying that they love to use Quick Coat over alcohol inks. We were talking about sealants over alcohol inks, and that is a really, really good option. I did a video with alcohol inks a couple of years ago. I used a sealer, I think it was like a Cryline clear sealer, and we all had this problem of my brown inks are turning green. Quick Coat will not give you that issue. It will also not give you those fish eyes. So one question is, can I use Facet for my acrylic blanks, molds, keychains, or does it set too fast? I think the problem is it's not going to set too fast. That's not the problem, but the problem is the heat. It does get very hot. The compound makes it super warm, and so it could sometimes be damaging to your silicone molds. Misty was telling us this morning that she hasn't had trouble with some of her molds. But like I said, just use what is best for you. But they do recommend you use the artist resin, right, for the molds.
You can use, if it's thinner, you can.
Okay.
If you know you're a 1/4 inch or less, you can use almost any of the resins.
Okay.
But it's when you get into a thicker mold, a 1/2 inch, an inch, then you want to start using the casting resins that we have.
Then you have a question. Do you have to use the quick coat to use the epoxy?
Or
You
does
do
it have to
not.
be covered? So you do not have to cover quick coat if you're doing like a canvas, like a canvas type art. Quick coat does not replace epoxy. You still have to finish with the epoxy on a tumbler because your mouth is going to be in contact with that tumbler. But I think they're saying as far as like canvas art, you could still not have to finish with the epoxy. Is that the question?
No, the question was, do we have to have quick coat to use the epoxy?
No.
No, but it helps.
It does help. It helps.
It'll help you
Pay
from
attention,
having
Holly.
issues.
I misunderstood. Sorry.
It'll,
They'll forgive me.
it'll keep you from having issues with your epoxy layer by using a sealer as a barrier coat. So it's going to protect you from problems.
Okay. So they can still use, if they're getting into this new world of counterculture, they can still use their other techniques, like epoxy method or Mod Podge or stuff like that. You do not have to have the quick coat to go along with the epoxy. But one thing that Barry said this morning and that the girl said this morning that really stood out to me is that if you are having trouble with your epoxy, a lot of times it is what is underneath the epoxy. So some of the materials or products that you are using could be casting
Or the
those fish
prep
eyes.
work, just the prep work itself.
Amanda Dickinson says, "Hi, Ccdiy. Quick coat is my lifesaver. I use quick coat on all my tumblers, and I see a difference. I freaking love everything Ccdiy. Let's see. Do you guys have any more questions for the team? I know that a lot of you guys are at work, and we will be answering questions as they come in after the live. They said also, I want to thank you for your amazing and fast shipping. I'm going to show you guys some products that they have sent today. I knew that they had glitter. I had no idea the amount of glitter that they had. It's a lot, and it is amazing, and it is polyester, right?
Yes.
Yep, it is polyester glitter. So, somebody said, can you use quick coat and then drop inks on it?
I don't think so. I don't think
Probably won't get the look.
you're not going to get the look that you are wanting with it
Yeah.
because it does. If it's too thick, it's going to be cloudy or almost milky looking.
Yeah.
So you're not going to achieve.
You won't
what
have
you're
the
going
fluidity
for.
with the inks either over the
Right.
quick coat.
Okay. So, some of the things that they offer you guys are a lot of colorants, and that is Amy's specialty. They have different colors on their website, but they also have kind of different categories. Some is the dispersion color, some is the extreme color, and some is the intense color. I did really good.
You did.
I
good.
know.
That was really good.
Oh,
yeah, that's
good.
hard. Yeah.
And then they also have armor art, which is almost like an epoxy dye, would you say? No?
No.
Okay. So I think that that's kind of a misconception too. I see a lot of people are saying that the armor art is just like an epoxy dye.
It's for effects, and it's very, very thick and highly pigmented. So it'll make those lacing effects. And what's the other cups called that you do the galaxy
like
cups?
Like the Milky Way.
Yeah, Milky Ways.
Yeah. So curious on the colorants. So I'm going to let Amy tell you guys about the pigmentation and why these colors are in those different categories.
So with the colorants, we have dispersion colors, extreme colors, and intense colors. And the difference between them is the pigment size in dispersion colors are larger. So the pigment size in the intense colors are teeny tiny, like nano pigments.
Do the basketball in the sand.
Okay, so if you're thinking in real life terms, the pigment that's in the dispersion color would look like a basketball, and the pigment that is in the intense colors is going to be more like sand. So when you add them to epoxy and use them together in a project, some will float to the top, some will sink to the bottom, and you'll get all kinds of fun and different effects that are just mind-blowing when you actually start working with them and interchanging them and mixing them together. So yeah.
And she doesn't mean, this is one question I had, she doesn't mean mixing the colors together in one cup. She means mixing them on top of each other, layering them.
Not like an acrylic where you pour everything in one cup. It's totally different than that. So you would pour colors on your project, on say a wood panel or a tumbler, separately. You would mix batches of your epoxy or separate your epoxy into batches and then tint each one with a different color and then pour them separately to get the effects.
Okay, so like one color per cup.
Yes.
All right. So Heather says, I've never used Counterculture, to be honest. I'm scared because of the faux rizzle issues and the money spent on faux rizzle. So Heather, let me tell you that the formula that Counterculture has and the formula that faux rizzle has are completely different formulas. They are not the same. Now, resin or epoxy, it gives you the same end result, possibly. You may end up with that finish that you want, but the quality of the formula is really what matters. And like we said before, it's important to use the right products underneath, and you don't have to use a quick coat if you don't have it. Keep doing what you're doing, but you don't be afraid of Counterculture. Remember that we have the patron discount, and they're also going to be sending you guys a treat with those. Do y'all want to see Mom's phones to answer some questions?
There's a lot of questions.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Any special mixing, or do you just mix it like normal?
In the colors?
With the epoxy.
Oh.
So how do you mix? I guess they're saying like how do you mix?
It's 50-50.
Yep.
So it's 1 part to 1 part, and and you just mix for approximately 3 minutes, and then I always switch to a new cup and stir it and just make sure that you have a complete mixture, and then pour. Does that answer that question?
Yeah. I think that some epoxies, oh my gosh, hold on.
Doggies.
Some epoxies, well, they love, so say hello. Some epoxies, they say to mix for 3 minutes, then you have to pour it into a separate container, then you have to mix it for 3 minutes, but with Counterculture, okay.
Yeah, so we do, you start in one container and mix it 2 to 3 minutes, and then it is best to pour it into a brand new container because the artist resin is thick, and you want to get any part that's not mixed into that original cup into the top of your new resin. That way you get it mixed in and you won't have any sticky spots on your project.
Okay. One question that I see a lot of you guys ask is, why do they recommend one final layer of the artist resin?
We always recommend that as the last layer because it's going to last the longest for your customer. So you want the best product that I know of to give your customer that's going to last the longest. So we have a lot of questions about that as fast set being the top coat, but I really made that as in between layers, as more of an adhesive and a way to put vinyl on quicker, but always use the artist resin in the end.
Okay. They want to know, what is the difference? What is the casting resin?
The casting resin is just a little bit different formula, and it's made for thicker projects. So if you wanted to do a mold that was 1 inch thick, the casting resin is going to cure a lot slower. So if you was to use the artist resin in that same mold, it would get hot and bubble and distort. the casting resin cures slower, so the bubbles are gonna dissipate, and then you should have a very clear resin in the end.
Okay. So I think that there was a question, can you use the casting resin as the final coat on your tumblers?
No.
No, so it's more for molds, canvas projects, more like maybe the geodes that you guys sell?
Mostly just molds.
Mostly just molds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anything thicker than 1/4 of an inch is what you want to use casting resin for.
Right.
But everything else can be covered with the artist resin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so let's see. Are there any bubbles, Joanne? There's always the opportunity for there to be bubbles. It really just depends on your mixing, how fast you mix, what instruments you use to mix with. As far as let me see what I'm trying to say. Some people just whip it as fast as they can. I always take it a little bit slower to reduce any bubbles. Do you guys have any suggestions? Because they've worked with epoxy for years and years, not just as a tumbler company. Barry has a background in epoxy. So what would you recommend to reduce the amount of bubbles?
So in the end, what's going to take care of any bubbles is going to be the type of heat that you use. So we recommend a certain type of torch that's a larger propane torch, and you have to have a high heat to penetrate the epoxy and heat that bubble to make it pop. So I know a lot of artists have the small
Like a kitchen torch?
yeah, the kitchen torch, and it doesn't provide the heat to get the bubble out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you could burn your epoxy before you'll heat the air in the epoxy to
Oh,
get it out.
wow. Okay.
And that will also give you a ripple. You can get the waves.
Yes, I've
and
had the
ripple
ripple.
effect.
Yeah.
That's
So
from-
the
that's
warmer
from
your
the-
epoxy is, the more fluid it is, and your finish won't be as smooth.
So you recommend going for the big boy torch?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I'll tell Matt, but I don't know if
From-
he'll trust me.
from my experience, I don't care how many bubbles are in my cup while I'm mixing.
Exactly.
I'm not concerned with that. I know a lot of people get caught up in, well, I've got bubbles in my cup. But that doesn't matter, because once you put it on your tumbler or your project or whatever, and you hit it with that torch,
They're
those
gone.
bubbles are gone.
Yeah.
If you hit it with the right torch, you got to get that big one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're gone, and it's amazing.
So
It
what do you
completely
use for your
changed.
cups? What do you use?
My torch,
Uh-huh.
the big one.
The
that they
Big
recommend.
Daddy. And I will link that for you guys
Yeah.
through Amazon. No, wait, do you guys sell that?
We have one that we're going to be coming out with.
Awesome.
We're
don't-
revealing that right here. For
Ah,
the
so
first time.
something Patreon exclusive. You heard it for first.
Yes.
They will be selling a torch. So, Gabrielle, you said no heat guns. Heat guns are really, really good for designs. Would you agree, Misty?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're really good for moving those colors around, right, Amy? For the armor art, to create those cells and stuff like that. But to
Yes.
pop bubbles, you need a torch. And like Barry just said, that is new to me. I have been using a kitchen torch that's about this big. You need that bigger torch.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a complete game changer, and I don't like change. We've been talking about this all
Yeah.
night. I don't like change, so I was really resistant. And plus, we've had some incidents in my home with fire, all due to me. So I was a little bit resistant to changing and getting the bigger torch. I was scared of it. There is no reason to be scared. It is. It's so easy to use if you get the correct one. It's so easy to use, super fast, and it really eliminates all that concern and stress and worry of what you're gonna do.
That's
It's
great.
nice, yeah.
So how long does it take for casting resin to dry?
So our culture cast is about 24 hours to cure,
Okay.
the initial cure. We do have a hard cast. The culture cast is a softer resin, but it does dry quicker. 24 hours you can demold your project. The hard cast is 48 hours, but it's as hard as glass when it's dry.
Oh wow.
So they use those a lot for like a thinner coaster.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, let me see. This is one of the biggest questions that I see you guys ask. Yes, Manda, we will do that. This is one of the biggest questions that we have been asked, and I really want to address this. And this is a question that I had myself. What is the difference between medium velocity and artist resin?
The thickness.
Just the thickness, really. Yeah. So we've had a lot of artists that just really struggled with, problems with bubbles. And so we came out with one just a little bit thinner. It's just easier to work with for some people. It is good in cooler temperatures.
Okay. That's good because a lot of our people live, it's like still snowing where
Yeah.
some people live. Can you use medium velocity as the final layer?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be artist resin. It can also be medium velocity.
That's what I use.
Mother's crinkling paper over there. She might as well be popping bubble wrap.
I'm setting lunch up. I'm doing mama things over here.
Okay, so somebody said I switched from Fro-Rizzle to Counterculture. They used Alumilite before that, and seriously, Counterculture has been my favorite. That is, so many guys are saying that you love Counterculture. And I am so thankful to have them here. I am so thankful for them to spend the time with us. We are going to be going over education. They're going to be teaching me all the ins and outs of the epoxy so that I can help serve you guys. Now, after this video is over, this was recorded in the patron group live for exclusive patrons. I'm also going to post this on YouTube to help answer some questions. So if you are on YouTube watching this, if you have any questions, just be sure to drop them below. You can also find the Counterculture website in the description. And if you guys use Counterculture on your tumblers or any other art that you may have, tag them. Be sure to share them in your stories. They love hearing from you guys. They love seeing your artwork.
Yes.
And just if you guys will press that heart button and thank Counterculture for being here with us today. I will be going live in just a bit, exclusive for patrons, to show you the colors that they have brought us, and all of this, just everything that they brought is amazing. So thank you for joining us, and I will see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.